Well, hello, Divi Nation, and welcome to another Divi use case live stream. And this week we have for you something new, something fresh. I hope you like it. We're going to be showing you how you can design business cards in Divi that flip with a cool animation. And we're going to do that to showcase your team or whatever it is you would want to showcase. Don't forget to check the video description for more info on this use case that we're going to be doing. There's a link to the blog post that goes along with it. I hope you like this new design. It's flipping business cards, and let's jump in and get started. All right, so I do want to welcome you again, those of you who are just joining us, and please feel free to let us know where you're from, say hello in the chat. Also, give me a thumbs up if you can hear me okay and the audio is coming in and the stream is coming in okay, so that I can make sure we're all on the same page and you can see it. All right, I'm just checking in. All right, nothing yet, but I do want to just kind of give you a heads up. Oh, hello, Jonathan from Germany. Welcome. Yes, now I see you there. Thanks for joining us, guys. Thanks, Ray. And now I got the thumbs up. We can go ahead. You can hear me fine. Great. Awesome. All right, so without wasting any time, I'm going to jump in and get started. I do want to give you a little preview before, just to kind of sneak peek what we're going to be building together today. We do have a lot to cover as far as just kind of the build is concerned, but the final design is really cool, and I think you're going to like it. And even without this click functionality, just designing a business card in Divi is a fun and possibly a useful tool for you to display your team. Here's a preview of the design here. So as you can see, if I click on any of these images here, we have a nice flip, and then the information in the business card, the information of the business card is displayed, and I can further interact with this. Click on social media links if I want, click on a website, email, things like that. To get out of it, I simply click on anywhere else on the page to get out of it. I can open up all of my business cards if I want, check them out. And then clicking out of it will just, flip it back out. So there's the functionality and design. Excited to show you how you can do this in Divi. And with that, let's go ahead and get started with a new page. So we're going to be, of course, using the Divi theme. I'm going to be building from scratch on a new page. So to do that, I'm just going to click to use Divi on the front end, obviously, and then when prompted, just click build from scratch. That'll put us right where we want to be, ready to add our new rows and all that good stuff. All right, thanks, Ahmad. Jeff, welcome. Freddie from France. That has a nice ring to it. Welcome, Freddie. All right, let's get going. If you're just joining us today, we're going to be designing some business cards that have some cool flip animation in Divi today. So not only will we be using some, of course, Divi built-in options to design these business cards, we'll also add a little code snippet there to get that functionality we want, and I'll walk you through how to do all that. Nima, thanks for the comment. So cool for contact pages. I love it. Yes, would be very cool for contact pages. I agree. Thanks, Al Mamun, for making sure you can hear me. Corey, welcome. Excited, I can see, about the flipping business cards. All right, let's get going. Of course, again, as a reminder, just ask your questions in the chat. Hopefully myself or someone in our community here in the chat can help you with any questions you may have. Just let them fly. All right, let's get going. I think my first step, oh, by the way, this video live stream will be available later on our YouTube channel and also on our Facebook page. So if you want to come back later and check it out, it'll be there eventually, after we're finished, obviously. And don't forget to check the chat for a link to the blog post that went out today that goes along with this. You can click on it and follow along if you want. So first thing we're going to do is add a new row. We're going to do a 1-column row. Even though we're going to be doing 2 columns, I like to do the 1 column first, so then I can just like duplicate the whole column. That's just me being lazy, and no, I like to call it efficient. Just more efficient that way. All right, so we're going to be optimizing the row settings first. So I'm going to not insert any modules. I'm going to open up my row settings here. Let me shrink up my modal here, position it over to the right. I don't know why, but I like it there. All right, so real quickly, I'm gonna go to my design tab. I do want to just add a little bit more space. I'm gonna do 90% on the width and a max width of 1200 pixels. And I do want to equalize the column heights because this will make sure all the business cards have the same height and width if you have multiple ones. This is going to be for a 2-grid or 2-column layout. So you want to make sure both of those kind of equal each other in height. So that's important. Once we do that, I'm going to save that, and then I'm going to open, I'm going to go down here, open up my menu settings, or settings menu, and I'm going to deploy my layers view. I like to have that open at all times, makes my life easier. I can click on things, especially for this kind of design. We're going to be adding some things in absolute position, and sometimes it's harder to click on those things. So having this layers view open is always a great idea. And I'm going to open up my column. So this is my row. I can get to it here if I wanted to. Just open up my column settings. And I'm going to add some spacing to my column. So design tab, and I'm going to deploy my responsive tabs there. On my desktop, I'm going to do 30 pixels on the top and bottom. Link it there. And let's do 50 pixels on the left and right. And then I'm going to jump over to my phone display, and I'm going to shrink that down a bit. I'm going to do 15 pixels on the top and bottom of my column, the padding, and then I'm going to do, again, 15 pixels on the right and left. All right, let's go back to that desktop view. I'm going to go to my advanced tab. Very important step here. We will be adding some classes to these elements, these business card elements, because we need to target those later on in our code. So don't skip this step, and make sure you enter the right class name. This is called card column. Fairly intuitive name. We're going to be using that. This will be our main trigger point. Like, for example, when we click on the column, it's going to trigger that animation flip effect. I'm going to save that out. And now all I'm going to do is, now that I have that one column set up with that spacing that I need and that class that I need, I'm just going to duplicate that column under my layers modal here. Now I have two identical ones. The reason why I do that is because the second one will inherit not only the settings, but also the CSS class. That CSS class needs to be on all of the columns that will contain a business card. All right, so first thing we're going to add to our design here is our business or the back of the card. So I'm going to add a new module, and we're going to use a divider. So I'm just going to, kind of a unique application of a divider, because we're not using it to divide anything. We're actually going to use it as a design element, basically to serve as the back of our, or the back card, the main backdrop of our business card. Under my divider settings, I don't want to show my divider. I'm wanting to use it for its background mainly. So I'm going to be adding a background color. It's kind of like that dark purple color there. And also going to add a gradient. So the gradient on the left, let's go ahead and copy it in here. You can get these on the blog post if you need. So that's my gradient left color, and then I'm going to copy my gradient right color there. Okay. And this is important. The gradient, you might be wondering why I'm adding a gradient and a background color. Well, the gradient is actually going to lay on top of my image that I'm about to add. So scroll down here. I'm going to change the gradient type to radial. Makes that, circular gradient there. Also going to adjust the in position to 34%. That's the wrong one. 34%. And that kind of creates that, you can notice that little white area or light area. That's where my image will show through. Place gradient above background image. And now all we need to do is add our image. So I'm going to go to my image tab. Let's upload an image from my media gallery here. Actually, I think it might just be easier. I'm just going to drag the two that I need in right now. These two profile pics here serve as our contact person, if you will, or this person's business card. All right. Start off, I'll just pull this image in. As you can see it in the preview, but it's not really showing up too well on the front end here because I don't really have any height and width to my divider yet. But I do want, while I'm here, to update, excuse me, to update the image settings. I want to update it to, instead of cover, I want to do fit. Make sure it fits inside of that divider container. And I want to make it sure it's centered, so that's good. All right. Now let's go over to our sizing. For our sizing, I do want to give it a 100% width. Make sure it spans the full width of the column. And for the height right now, I mean, this isn't necessary, but I do want to add, oh, wrong one, sorry. The height needs to be 100%. And the max height, I'm sorry, min height, I'm just going to add this temporarily. I can just leave it in. I just want to make sure I can see it before I start adding design elements to it. So you can just kind of get an idea of what it looks like before you go on to any other settings. The height is equal to 100%, and that will come into play once I make this or give this divider an absolute position. And what that will do is make that divider span the full height of our column, which is what we want. We want that back card to completely fill that column in the back there. All right, so let's go over to our box shadow. So for our box shadow, I'm just gonna add this little box shadow there. I can update the blur strength to like 50, make it a little bit more pronounced of a box shadow. And let's go to our absolute position, my advanced tab now. I do want to add a very important CSS class we're going to be targeting later let's call it back card. Go over to my position, make it absolute. And as you can see now, it has spanned the full width of the column nicely, and it will also span the full height of the column. All right. Now, our next step is to add our next design element, which will be our logo. So let's do that with an image module. So I'm going to add an image module right under our divider there. And I want to make sure and upload my logo, if I can find it in this media gallery. Where is that logo? I bet it's way down here. All right, well, I guess what I'll do is use this one. I think there was a smaller one there that I wanted to use, but this one's okay. Because I'm going to give it in the blog post, I say that it should be around 60 pixels by 60 pixels, which is, ideal. You don't want it to be too big, but this is perfectly fine. So for my sizing, I just want to give it a max width of 60. And that will make it the right size that we want. I'm just going to drag it from there, from my preview, and pull it in. It's bothering me because I'm not using the exact logo. Sorry about that. So I'm just going to do that right now. Let's change it. I'm gonna put that one, the right one. There it is. Okay, I feel better now. Okay, let's continue. All right, so I want to go over to my advanced tab, add a CSS class, because remember, each one of these will need to be animated at some point. So I want to make sure and target those. Just call this card content. Eventually going to give that class to all of those elements. And then let's go down to our position for our image, and we're going to give it an absolute position. That'll stick it right up there to the top left. And so I do want to give it an offset. So I'm going to do, let's do 30 pixels vertical offset, and on desktop, and then on phone, let's shrink that down a bit to 15 pixels. My horizontal offset on desktop will be 50, and then on phone will be 10. All right. Let's continue. I'm going to do the name next, and then I'm going to check in the chat here, make sure I'm not missing out on any questions. All right, so the next one we're going to add is our name for our business card. We're going to use a text module. No surprise there. So in my layers view, I want to make sure that my text module is, under my image module. I'm just going to keep things in order here. In fact, I'm just going to rename this name, and I'm going to name this this label logo. Helpful for keeping track of all this stuff. My divider is my back card. So I got back card, got my logo, got my name. So I'm going to open up my text module for my name, and then I'm going to add a name. Just going to add my name. And then I'm going to update the text. So the text design, that is. I'm going to change the font to Poppins. And let's give our text color a white color there. And for my text size on desktop, I'm going to do 28 pixels. And then for my phone, I'm going to shrink it down to 22. All right. I'm going to give it a 1 pixel letter spacing, and then make sure that I align it to the right. And that's it. Easy enough. Now we have a name. Let's check the chat here. Erkin, thanks for the comment. He says he likes my attitude and that he is also efficient. Yes, really bothers me that sometimes. Alasego, hello from Spain. I don't know if I'm pronouncing your name right, but hello, welcome. David Yan, Ryan, and Eric, welcome. Oh, that's a good question. Eric asks, what version of Divi am I using? It very well might be that I haven't put in the latest update, but I can check on that. If it's not the latest one, it's the one right before. I can... but none of the design we're doing here should be affected by any update. All right, so let's continue on with our job position. So we got our name. Let's go ahead and do our job position now. But before I do that, one more quick comment from Corey. Is this a feature that is added upon updating Divi, or do we have to grab? No, this is not like a special feature release or anything that we just added. This can be done from older versions of Divi without any problems. Good question. All right, so my job position, what I'm going to do to create that one, I'm going to duplicate my name module that I made. So I can see it now is duplicated and it's sitting right underneath my name. Now I'm just going to relabel it position. And then open the settings for my little duplicate there. And let's change it to whatever your job position you want it to be. And then we go to our design tab. And then for the text font style, I'm going to make it all uppercase. And we're going to shrink down that text size to 16 pixels on desktop and 14 pixels on on phone. And for my spacing, I'm going to add just a little bit of margin in the bottom. 15. Create some space for the next element I'm about to put in there, which is the company that he or she may work for. So to do that, let's go ahead and duplicate our position text module. I love to duplicate things. Makes things a whole lot easier whenever it makes sense, obviously. Instead of position, I'm going to label this company. Open the settings. Put in the company. And we'll update the design real quick. For the text, let's change the font weight. First of all, I want to bring back my font style to the default instead of uppercase. And let's change the font weight to light. Give it a different look. And for the text size, let's bring it up some to 22 pixels on desktop, and then for phone, let's do 18 pixels. So we're having fun building these business card elements. At least I am. Okay, that looks good. All right, I need to align this though to the left. So my company name is right over there, and let's bring it back to my desktop view. So looking good so far. Now we're ready for our phone number. Let's go ahead and, for this though, we're going to be using something different. So I'm going to add a new module right underneath my company text module. We're going to use a blurb because I want to take advantage of that icon, that built-in icon that the blurb gives us. And so this one, let me relabel it. Instead of blurb, we're going to call this phone. And then for the blurb settings, I'm just going to erase the title. I'm not going to use the title. I'm just going to put my number here in the body content. You feel free to actually add an actual link to an actual telephone number with a you know, a clickable link to generate a call or whatever. You can do that. One of the reasons why I left the functionality, going back to my finished product here, to be able to click on things here, and instead of like clicking on the card and it flipping back over, I wanted to make sure and be able to click on a phone number or a web or an email address or a web page. So feel free to add that there if you like. Let's go down to our image icon, and we're going to our image and icon option, and we're going to click to use an icon and find that phone. Where's the phone? There it is. Not looking great, but we'll take care of that in our design tab under our image and icon option group. Let's change our icon color to a kind of like a lighter version of that purple we have in that logo. With a little transparency as well. And for the image icon placement, let's make it go to the left. You can see it coming together there. I do want to adjust the icon font size to 20. And for my body text options, for my body font, let's go ahead and make it match with the Poppins font and make sure our text color is white. And let's make our body text size, let's make it 16 pixels. And under our spacing, let's add a little bit of margin. Let's do 10 pixels on the bottom. Clicking on way too many things. Okay, so 10 pixels at the bottom margin there. And we're done. On to the next thing, which is our email address. I think we're over halfway done. Things are gonna roll faster here because I get to duplicate that blurb. I'm gonna call this email or label it email. Open up the settings. Let's just add your email address, whatever that might be. Here again, you can create an actual link to generate or open up an email if you like as well. And now all I need to do really is change my icon. That would make sense with the design or with what I'm presenting, which is an email address. So let's just do the envelope. Where's that envelope? It's somewhere here. I know it. I can feel it. It's right around here. Ugh. Have I forgotten what an envelope looks like? Oh, gosh. Sorry about that. All right, there's my envelope. Save it out. Let's duplicate our blurb again. Change the label to, this time we're going to do website. It's our last blurb. Update the body content with the actual website, whatever it may be. Update your image icon. Hopefully, I'll just use this one. There we go. Looking good. And we're almost done with our back card and card info. So last module we're going to add is our social media follow buttons here. So social media follow module right underneath our blurb displaying our website. And let's update the social media follow settings. Let's see, let me open up my, let's see. Yeah, let's open up, I just want to open up my network, my Facebook network there, whatever network you have. You will definitely want to update a link to the actual account at some point, but I do want to just take out this background because I don't need it for this design. And let's do the same thing for our Twitter. Let's just take out that background color, save it. And let's go to our design tab and make sure that that module is aligned to the right. That puts it in the right spot. Okay, so I've been ignoring a very important class that I need to add to all of these card content elements. So I'm just gonna pull my layers view here, make sure you can see. So I need to add the class, I think I already have it on the logo. This class here, that one, card content. So I need to add it to the rest of them. So I could click on each one of them and add them individually, but I'm going to do multi-select, and I'm just going to click on all of the ones that I want to add the class to. Oh man, I messed up. All right, let's try that again. I'm holding down Control or Command and then clicking on each of these modules. And the last one, social media follow. Okay, so all of those, and then I can open up the settings and then go to my advanced tab, add card content class, and save it out. That'll add it to all of those. And I want to save my settings. And now I want to check my comments. I've been ignoring you guys, but Eric has a question. Do you think Divi releases too many versions? I have a hard time keeping up. Yes, I do understand, but I don't know if I agree that we're releasing too many versions. Normally, a lot of times these are security updates, critical updates, why you would update any app or plugin or theme. We're just trying to keep things as fresh and up to date and running smoothly as possible. As you might know, there are a lot of working parts to the Divi theme and the Divi builder, so we want to make sure and keep those updated. Eric also asked, what browser am I using? Chrome all the way. Been using Chrome for a long time, not backing down. Okay, and also asked, would love feedback on his website. Well, maybe I just leave a link in there. Maybe we can get to that, or someone else can. Let's see. We're about to do our last step, which is to create our front card. I say last step, last design step, and then we're going to add our custom code. So we're almost done. Stay with me. Looks like we're good on the questions, so I'm going to plug along. If by some chance you are just joining us, we are building some really cool business cards that have some flip animation in Divi, and we can use this to showcase them in multiple areas on your website, but it would be nice to use as a team member on a team member page or a contact page, stuff like that. And we're basically done with our back card and all of our card info. Now we need to add our front card. And to do that, I'm going to shrink down my layers view, bring it over here out of the way. And I could start by adding it here, but I want to get a good look at it. So I'm going to build it in this column first, and then I'm just going to drag it over. It's just the way my mind works. I want to do it this way. So we're going to do our image module. That's what we're going to use. A real creative twist on an image module. So we're going to be harnessing the image itself as the logo, and then we're going to also use the background element of the image to show our other picture of our person. It's kind of hard to explain. What I'm talking about is when this is my front card. As you can see, it's a different image as the one when I flip that's on the back card. So we're going to create this front card portion, and we're going to create this logo and this background all using an image module. So to do that, we're in our image module settings. I do want to add that same logo that I used before. I just thought of this, but it would be cool to actually use your site's logo. Like if your team all works for the same company, you can use the site logo as dynamic content and just pull that in there. That way you don't have to worry about updating the cards later on. I don't know, just an idea. Let's go on. There's our image logo. I do want to give it a custom background. Just a reminder, my logo is 60 pixels by 60 pixels. It needs to be small because we are going to be positioning it over to the right and to the left and still using that background portion of this module to cover our column. All right, so here's what I'm going to do. I need to add a background, but I kind of don't want to build it from scratch, so I'm going to go over to my divider here, or my back card. Remember the first thing we added? And I'm going to open up the settings for that. And remember that custom background we've created? I'm just going to copy. I can't even see it. Let me bring it down. Okay. I'm going to copy the background for the divider there. Then I'm going to go to my image, and then I'm going to paste that background in there. All right, so now it's all there. I might have to save it out and come back in to see it. There we go. Let's go back to my background. So there you go. And now all I need to do is update the actual image by clicking on it and adding that new image of the person. There it is. And now we need to go and update the spacing for our image. That'll align it where we want it to go. So under the design tab, under spacing, let's do open our responsive tabs there. For a desktop, let's do a padding of 30 pixels on the top and 50 pixels on the left. And on phone, we'll shrink it down to 15 pixels on the top and then 10 on the left. Okay, my card isn't the same height, but that's only because we have yet to give it the height and width that we need, and also the absolute position, which we're going to do now. Under the Advanced tab, first thing, we need a new CSS class, front card. And we are going to use our custom CSS to add a add our custom height and width. This is kind of a hack on on the image module here. I'm actually adjusting the height of the image module, not the actual image when I do this. So I'm just going to do height 100%. You can see how it jumps down there. And also width 100%. And to make sure that, because right now it's kind of being affected by that column padding, which is why it's not the same size as the one on the left. But once I give it an absolute position, all is well. It'll sit on top of there nicely. And one final touch, I do want to make sure that this front card sits on top of everything. So I'm going to give it a z-index of 13. And that's it. Let's go ahead and save it out. And I'm just going to drag it over. Now, just for my own efficiency, right? Who was it that said that? Oh, Ercon. Yes, Ercon. Appreciates my efficiency. Okay. We're going to go and bring that image all the way down on the... Okay. Let's try that again. I'm going to drag it below the very bottom module because I want it, you know, in the order of the document. You know, the things that come last normally sit above the things that are before it in the z-index. So just for best practice, I'm going to keep my image. And I'm also going to label it front card. Keep it down there. Okay. All right, let's get my layers view out of the design. So everything looks good. I'm going to save it out. I do want, at this point, we are done with the design aspect. Now we're getting to the part where we need that custom code with basically a combination of some custom CSS and JavaScript or jQuery. And so what I'm going to do is I can add this code. I'm going to use a code module, which I can add anywhere, but I'm just going to slip it right underneath my front card there. Code, add a code module. Just keep it in that same column. Make this large enough so we can see it. And then all it is now is pasting in some code. So the first thing I'm going to do is paste in some CSS. And since I'm actually pasting it in the HTML document, I need to surround it with style tags. So any CSS you add to the actual page directly, you need to surround it with some style tags first. I do this because, or we do this because it makes it easier for whenever you import this layout, or I export and import it, and you can import it on your site. Everything is actually on the actual page itself. You know, ideally you can take this CSS and add it to your child theme or to the theme options or wherever else you want to add, keep all your CSS. But add it here in the code module is what we're doing now, surrounded by our style tags. And then the next one is our JavaScript, so I'm going to have to surround that with a script tag and then paste it in. All of this can be found, this code can be found in our blog post that went out with this use case tutorial. There's a link to it in the video description, so feel free to check it out later. But just a quick preview. I know we're going a bit long, or it feels like we are. I feel like you're getting bored. I hope you're not. I'm going to just kind of go over this real briefly. The CSS. You should notice some of these classes that should be familiar. We got our card column, which is the main one. I added a perspective to it because we're going to be flipping it, and I wanted to preserve that 3D animation element, and perspective does that whenever you transform things in CSS. So that's why that's there. And then the front card on hover, we wanted to make that pointer cursor. The front and back card. So both of those, I'm just adding a transition of, 500 milliseconds. That just controls the speed of the transition. In this case, the flipping animation. We're actually flipping both cards at the same time. Excuse me. And then delaying that content. So the back card is going to rotate on the x-axis 180 degrees. Like that. So that's a 180 degree flip there. And then also the front card, where is it? I'm sorry, the back card is going to flip. Yes, and also whenever it is active, the front card will rotate as well. So the front card will rotate out of view. That's the rotate X here, 180 degrees. And at the same time, the back card is going to rotate from the opposite direction, giving it the effect of it being actually one card flipping. So that's what's happening there. And then let's see. I'm actually showing using opacity here. When the card is clicked, I'm targeting all those card elements, with that class card content, and I'm making them appear by they originally have an opacity of 0, but I'm making it completely appear with an opacity of 1. The key here is this over here, and that is the delay. So I'm delaying the transition 500 milliseconds because, if you remember, the transition of the front and back card animation is actually 500 milliseconds. So the text will appear after the flip is complete. So if you have some understanding of CSS, you probably can understand. Hopefully you're getting some of what I'm saying. And this is the JavaScript. Basically, main thing here is that when clicking the column here, I'm adding a class to it called Divi transform active. And then that's telling my CSS there to do its thing. And then when I click on anywhere else in the document, I'm actually going to remove that class. So that's why whenever I click outside of it, it goes back to normal. All right, let me get out of there. Save it out. I still haven't checked it to make sure it works. So I'm going to open it up in a new tab, click on it, and there you go. Working like a charm. So we're done with it. So if ever you wanted to create a new card, I would do this actually. I would actually just duplicate the column. So I'll just erase or delete this column, and then I will duplicate the column with the card in it. And then that way I have a brand new template ready to work with for my next person that I want to feature. And let's go ahead and update it. There it is. Both my cards should open and then close when I click out. I'm going to inspect it here just so I can show you what it looks like on mobile devices. I'm going to shrink it up. So that's kind of like getting in your tablet area and then down to mobile. But let me flip one over so you can see. So there you go. Let me click out of it, click on it, make sure it works in my mobile view there. And of course, you can update it with all of your new people and their information as needed. Let me check the comments or chat in the chat here, and then we'll be done. Appreciate you sticking with me this long. Ray has confirmed that I don't know if he says we aren't bored. I don't know if he's speaking for everyone, but I appreciate the comment nonetheless. And yes, Erkan, the copy paste feature. I think you like it as much as I do. All right, I think we're good on comments. Sounds like my dog in the background's ready for me to be done as well. All right. If there's no more questions, I think we're going to wrap things up here today. All right. Well, that's all I got for you this week. Thanks for joining in, everyone. Please be sure to subscribe to our blog newsletter, our YouTube channel, like us on Facebook. Give us a thumbs up if you like the video, and don't forget to click to get those notifications so we can get you notified every single time we have something new for you, like our next live stream, which we'll be back here next Tuesday with another Divi use case live stream, 3 p.m. Eastern time on Tuesday. And thanks again for joining us, and we look forward to seeing you in our next video.